You're allowed to be flawed. You're allowed to not be okay. You're allowed to just be authentic. No smoke, no sugarcoating, a shit show. And like just real conversations. And of course, what is it without a little bit of art to keep it beautiful? So y'all gonna hear some poetry, on some episodes. You may hear, songs, rap. Like I plan on having all different types of guests coming in, and I just fucked that up. So woo. Welcome to Headshots and Heels podcast. I am your host, Lady 380. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? This podcast is where we talk about shots that life fires at us, how to get up and move forward without pretending we were never hit, right? No smoke, no sugarcoating, just real conversations and a little art to make it beautiful. Why not? For those of you who don't know who I am, allow me to introduce myself. I am Lady 380, and whatever I speak is my truth. So if you find yourself offended or unable to relate, then these bullets weren't meant for you. I am a spoken assassin, so this is your final warning. I aim for straight headshots, and ain't nobody in here bulletproof. So, I go by 380, and if you haven't put two and two together yet, then that is a caliber. I aim for straight headshots, meaning that I try to speak to your mind. I pride myself on finding people who've never really taken an interest in poetry or spoken word and making them become a fan, because it ain't always just about, reading out of your diary, but you can make it a fun and enjoyable experience. I'm from Houston, Texas, and, born and raised, thoroughbred, you know what I'm talking about? But no, like, so I wanted to create a space where, talking isn't just performative, but it allows you to still be real. I've been on stage with a mic performing for years, pouring out my poetry, pouring out my pain, my purpose, and my power. So now creating this space is just an amplification of what I've pretty much been doing, just a safer space where I feel like you're allowed to be flawed, right? Because when I'm performing on stage, it's like, the requirement is already perfection. That's one thing about being one of the greats. Once you build a name for yourself, ain't no such thing as bad days. And I kind of want to relax on that element, because at the end of the day, baby, I am still a human being and I am still flawed. So I felt that this space would allow me to operate in such a way, as well as other guests that will be on the show as well. So I can take this time to tell you about one of my own headshots or wounds, right? I think my biggest thing was being a people pleaser. I say had, but at times I still am, but I am very much more picky about who I give that side of me to. I'm naturally a giver, so naturally you have takers that will, come to use you or whatever. And sometimes I know that's what's going on, and sometimes I may not. So, given the fact that I feel like it's just in me to operate in the way I do, I have found a way to not allow as much access to me as I did before. They are so cute. And these are actually for the second episode, so I don't even really have the real notes on here as I should. That's okay. They still cute. They cute anyway. I typically would, find myself in situations where I didn't feel that I had the right to say no. And saying no is a big deal, right? I didn't say no when I was asked to borrow money and I may not have had it to give, but, you know, did it anyway. I didn't say no when someone needed a place to lay their head and I may not have felt comfortable with it. I obviously, well, not obviously, because I don't look like I've been through. Hopefully not. But, I have been taken advantage of in more ways than one. Whether, like I said, it was to borrow money, borrow a pillow, borrow my car, or borrow my body. I pulled the trigger on myself with silence. And I've learned that that did more damage than it did healing. Once I learned to face those uncomfortable truths and, deal with confrontation head on, I found myself to really be on my healing on my healing journey. And we all know that healing is never a straight line. It's messy, it's raw, and it's real. At any moment, you can think that, you've been doing well, you recognize your triggers and you know your boundaries, but something can happen when you least expect it and then boom, you triggered. It might be right back to the same thing, or at least it can wake up something in you that you thought, you had gotten rid of or that you thought had died. And that's what we're going to talk about. I learned that sometimes survival means just rebuilding from scratch. Taking the rubble that's left over and rebuilding. Sometimes you didn't even cause the collision, but you can't stay stuck. Like, what can we do to move forward? Because life happens, and life happens fast, baby. It comes at you, and sometimes it does hit you like a ton of bricks. And I think one of the things that we don't always acknowledge is that they say misery loves company, and that's not always a negative thing. Sometimes you go through things, and sometimes you just need to understand that other people are going through it too. Like, it's not just you. But sometimes half of the burden is just feeling like, why me? Like, why does everything, no matter if I try to do right, why do all these bad things keep happening to me? And, they say God don't put more on you than you can bear, but hello? Like, I can't tell, and you have those situations and you feel like you keep making the wrong decisions, but no, and it seems like everybody else around you may have the key to life figured out. As we know, we watch highlight reels, and they don't never highlight the real on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook. So while you going through your shit, it look like everybody else is, just enjoying life and having a time, and you're the only one that's left behind. And that's not always the case. Like, people go through things, and it really comes down to how you bounce back and recover from the things that you're going through, how you present yourself while you're going through the things that you're going through. And not to say to be fake, but sometimes you do have to fake it till you make it, baby. You got to get up and shower, brush your teeth, do your hair, put on some makeup, look cute, dress up, even if it's just to walk into your living room. Like, there are certain things that you just have to do to look good and feel good. And again, I wanna give a platform for us to be able to do that and do that together. So we'll tell the truth. Every month we'll unpack the hits and the healing. Some episodes will be just me, raw talk. And I don't know if y'all can hear that, but like, my neighbor is playing Call of Duty. I'm about to talk to the wall and ask him to go ahead and add me so I can start back playing too, because he is like, he obviously ain't that good because he keep dying. And he keep begging people to save him. He keeps screaming because he died and he blaming it on everybody else. I probably don't even want to play with him because I don't really like them type of people. But anyway, he's screaming and stuff like he getting murdered for real. But yeah, so we'll talk about real conversations, relatable topics, lessons learned. So if you don't get it through my poetry, you're going to get it on this podcast. We'll talk about friendships, betrayals, loud neighbors, businesses that almost broke us, what it looks like navigating motherhood, just all around aspects of life in general. So it's going to be honest, witty, because y'all know I like to think I'm funny, and if you don't know, then now you know, or whatever. I don't like to like drown in sorrow. Like we can shed a few tears, but we gonna share a good kiki too. But sometimes it will be uncomfortable, and I think that's the whole point. Like I really want people to understand that the things that you're going through, you're not alone. I want to give a voice to the voiceless, but it'll always be forward thinking. Where do we go from here? What do we do now? So if you need someone to hold your hand, help you get dressed, put your little makeup on, put your heels on, and for the guys, put your little cologne on, put your little button down on, or whatever. However you do what you do, the point is to, look good and walk into the world with your head high, chest out, heels on. Yeah, so if you like what you see or hear so far, please make sure that you follow me on whatever platform that you're streaming this on. Follow me on Instagram _Lady380. Follow the Headshots and Heels podcast at Headshots and Heels podcast on all streaming platforms. I do have a website. It's lady380poetry.com where you can sign up to be a guest. You can submit your topics. You can purchase my merch, please. No Smoke is my brand. And what the people be doing? Hold on, let me see it. Right here, I'll have a shirt. No Smoke on the front. Ain't nobody in here bulletproof on the back. And then we also have Lit by Brick candles. Oh, I should probably do that over here too. Sorry. We're going to have Lit by Brick candles. I've been working on a new dessert line, so we have those just in time for the holidays. You can pre-order online. Again, the website is lady380poetry.com. A whole lot of game, creative cheat going on around these parts. But yeah, so like I said, I really just wanted to give a quick introduction to the podcast, let you know what you can expect, kind of give you guys a rundown of how things will be going. For now, I am going to commit to one episode each month. You may get more content than that, but that's what I want to, task myself with right now with everything else that I have going on. The next episode, speaking of, will be in front of a live audience. My seventh installment of a No Smoke production. This is going to be a poetic play entitled What About Your Friends? And it's going to be amazing. Like, not even going to be, excuse me, now I got the hiccups. But I ain't recording this no more. If y'all knew how many times I'm going to put the bloopers in here. But, Jesus, sweating my makeup off at this point. Shiny and shit. But yeah, what about your friends play? Oh my God. Like I'm, I outdid myself, if I must say so myself, and I do. Toot toot. But we're gonna tackle a lot of different topics about having, confrontation with your friends, deciding whether or not some relationships are salvageable. We'll be talking about relationships, different traits that your friends may have that you either admire or talk shit about. We'll be talking about mothers using their kids as pawns and holding them hostage, to use as leverage on their baby daddies. We'll talk about forgiveness, and most importantly, we'll talk about healing. So we have all the things, all the ranges of emotions. It's funny, it's comedic, which is another word for baby. But I had to say it because that's what I want to say. And I say anyway. You would think I was the only child, but I ain't. I ain't. That's a whole other podcast episode. But again, episode 2 is going to be what about your friends? If you haven't gotten tickets to the play, then you need to do so now while you still have time. Once it is sold out, I mean, it'll be standing room only, and you're gonna have to get in when you fit in. So if you want to guarantee yourself a seat, I suggest you buy your tickets now. I suggest you be there when doors open at 6:30. The show will start promptly at 7 o'clock. I don't care who all there and who all not, and you're not gonna want to miss the first few scenes to make it make sense, you know what I'm saying, for the duration of the time. So I would hate for you to, shortchange yourself. Don't do it to yourself. If you stayed this long in the podcast, then I want to give you a special code so that you can use to purchase your tickets to the show. It'll give you a 30% off discount. So let's see what we gonna make the code. The code is going to be headshot. Now, how about that? Okay, headshot, all one word, upper or lowercase, it won't matter. You'll get 30% off whatever the ticket sale price is of the day that you purchase your tickets until they're sold out. So, like I said, you might want to go ahead and get on that right now. Like, subscribe, follow. I think I did all that. Make sure y'all comment and interact with the posts and stuff, whatever. Like, I'm trying to get part of the algorithm for real, so we can really take this show on the road and really do some amazing things and bring healing, to a lot of different people. That is definitely, the goal. And just remember, headshots hit different, but don't run from the pain. We walk through it, we heal through it, heels and head high, no smoke, just truth. I'll see you next episode for the live debut, December 6th at Midtown Arts Center. Get your tickets at lady380poetry.com. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for the next episodes. I have something great, in store. Ain't nobody in here bulletproof. Lady 380. How to pick up ourselves. Oh my God. Hello. I was in the middle of recording my podcast scene. Yeah. Come on, child. Because y'all just for those of you who know, hey, and for those of you who don't, you will learn. I go by Lady 380. I'm a prominent poet out here in Houston, Texas. Um, my slogan is "Ain't nobody in here bulletproof," and what a better way to kick off this podcast other than by having the first episode be named exactly that. So 380 is a caliber. So any other time, I really don't want no smoke. But at the same time, if you want it, I got all the smoke for you. Okay. I decided to create this podcast so we can talk about both of y'all just Jamar called and they were starting ringing on my laptop. Where you going? Where you going? All right, just text me. Text me the time. Let me try to start. Oh, wait. I was just trying to record this episode first. But no, just go ahead and come home because I ain't met him, his mama, or nothing like that. I said just go ahead and come home. I haven't met him, his mama, or nothing like that. that I don't know who to trust in their house, or they don't know me and what I have going on. Having somebody at people's house that time of night. Yeah, but still, it's gonna be late. But yeah, come on, come on. Mhm, mhm. He down. Them titties is out. Oh no. Girl, no. We grown for a sec. I mean, a goddamn night. Some shit. All right, I'm putting my phone on D&D. I'm about to record my episode. I already got this man over here playing Call of Duty.